are a rock, we are a nation. We just need European representation. We are a rock, we are a nation.
Good evening and welcome to my latest project. This you see here is a mural for the University of Gibraltar. I'm doing it somewhere else, a space kindly donated by the Gibraltar Cultural Services, and I've got to thank the Alwani Foundation, the Kishing Alwani Foundation, for sponsoring the event, the project. So now the first thing to do is, obviously we've laid out the planks. It measures 8 point something meters by 2.38 meters. So it's a big mural. First thing we have to do, lay the planks one next to each other. You can see them, they're all numbered. And now I've got to prime them. So I bought a nice primer, acrylic primer. I'll give it a couple of coats and then I'll get back.
Young girl, about 14 years old, tried to run from the place they called her home, but she couldn't find a simple way out to get to the place she's always dreamed about. Where did she go?
The title I've thought for this mural is Non Plus Ultra, from the post-classical Greek. It's a term I enjoy and I like. It means, the actual thing is, let there be no sailing beyond. That's where it comes from. But it's become a different thing nowadays of non plus ultra. It's the perfection, nothing better than that. It also means a prohibition of not doing something. So I thought it was quite a good title. Also, the fact that the mural's located at the lighthouse, or near the lighthouse in the University of Gibraltar, that's where the term comes from. When ships got to that point, it was thought at the time that the world ended there, so it was like, let there be no sailing beyond. So all that thing made the title appropriate. Okay, the primer has already been laid, the priming coat. Now my next step is what to put on top of the primer, which is the hardest bit. I've been asked by the university that they wanted a Gibraltar theme. Now that is a very subjective idea, something to do with Gibraltar. My first step at the moment is to go to visit my friend Anthony Pitaluga, the archivist, and source some material, get some photographs, understand a bit about our history, in order to be able to portray something about the history of Gibraltar on a mural.
Article 10 of the Treaty of Utrecht. O luego 1805 era the Battle of Trafalgar.
Yo te voy a mandar un email con los topics que estamos haciendo aquí y quiero que, si puede, me ayude y a buscar 3, 4 fotos, porque si
¿tú te
hay
vienes?
tanto.
Sí, eso es lo que pasa aquí, que there's too much and you have to have a discipline.
I've got to bring it down. Por cada panel, 10 como mucho. Gibraltaric, espérate, eso hay que decirlo.
Sí, bueno, pero Gibraltaric tenemos ahí una controversia con Gibraltaric porque Gibraltaric, Tariq as such, los nombres de las personas is not allowed in Islam de usar. Y entonces Tariq, Jibal es mountain y Tariq es el nombre de una persona. Pero having researched this, I have found that Tariq with G is path. Montaña del Path into Spain para la conquista, El nombre de persona not allowed.
We're on day 2 of a mural. We've given it three coats of primer because the marine ply sucks a lot of the paint in. So we've given it 3 coats. And then I've done my first creative input into the mural is I've laid down a whole strip, as it were, of chronicles, Gibraltar chronicles. Now, there's a reason behind it. The chronicles are all of the same day, so in a way I'm trying to already inculcate an idea into the mural. It's about Gibraltar and what Gibraltar stands. I'm already, and I work in layers, I've always worked in layers. My first layer is a day of Gibraltar. Last week, August, one day, one chronicle, I've laid them all out, I've stuck them on the mural, and now I'm going to cover it with a thin coat of white to diffuse the effect. I wanted a bit in the background, I wanted hidden away, but there's already a day in the life of Gibraltar in the mural. As I'm painting, I realize I like the idea of leaving certain areas unpainted, just to make it a bit more interesting. And at the end, hardly any of this will be visible, but it's there. And for me, that's enough. It's a memory, it's a token of a day, as it were. See, I'm leaving that bit untouched. And that already sets the scenes for the rest of the mural. I'm already getting vibes, I'm already getting ideas of what to do next. I'm actually thinking of, because I think the color scheme I've been given for this is basically blues and ochres. And already I'm thinking maybe blues at the top, signifying sky, and ochres at the bottom. And in between, blues and ochres, where the sea meets the earth, and that sort of concept. But again, it's all wishy-washy at the moment, and there's nothing written in stone as yet. There's a long, very long process for this to be completed. But it's looking interesting. I'm getting good vibes. And I'm just going to go over the whole thing again. Some areas covered, others. I mean, I'm trying to, where the newspaper meets the board, I'm trying to give it a stronger coat. For effects. And like I said, all of this would be almost lost. But it's and that's the advantage of working with layers. At the end, you'll be able to pinpoint or pick up areas of interest and go, wow, look at that, it says whatever, a news item. That's the effect I want to get. And now the rest of today, once I finish this, I want to invest in experimenting with color. Try to get some sheens of color or glazes, as it were. So I want to experiment with a few ideas so as to get some interesting glazes. The project started about a year, possibly over a year ago, when my friend and Vice Chancellor of the university at the time, Daniela Tilbury, asked me to come up with ideas for for a mural. The mural had to go in the new common room that would be sponsored by the Kishin Alwani Foundation, and they wanted to revamp the university common room, and had thought of doing a mural. So that's when the project started. Okay, now is the time for a bit of experimenting. I believe that in art you've got to push the boundaries, and this is something that I've never tried before. I'm going to try it. I'm going to go for it. Early days, if it doesn't work, I'll just have to prime the whole thing again. Basically, what I'm doing here, I'm mixing a bit of powder paints, school powder paints, with water. But I've tried that before, and when it dries, if you add water to it, in effect, if you pass the paintbrush with water, you take it with you. So I'm going to do one thing that I haven't done before, and it's mix it in with a bit of PVA glue, diluted PVA glue, right? So basically, I've got some PVA glue, which is 50-50, mixed with water. And now this, I'm going to just literally throw it over my mural. It works in different levels. First of all, it eliminates the idea of you know, when you look after your piece and you're really careful that you don't spoil it, that you don't do anything wrong with it, and I'm going to do away with that, and I'm going to apply the paint as if I'd done this before loads of times, and see what happens. I'm just going to literally see what happens. I'm going to mix it well, and now I'm going to throw it over the mural. I don't know what effect I'm going to get, but I'll gauging from that and judging from that, I'll be able to use it in the future, in the next stages, or not. So you don't lose anything. You might feel like you've ruined it, but there's nothing there now. There's just newspapers and primer, so I can go back to that again if I wanted to. I like that effect. Wow. Qué bueno. At the time, I only had one condition, and that was that I had to have total freedom. And I first thing I said, I did not want to have a theme imposed or a subject matter imposed on me. I had to have total freedom. And Daniela at the time said she agreed with me as long as I showed her what I had in mind. And I remember I took her a book by an artist that I like, Antonio Saura, and I showed her a similar mural, much bigger than mine, and she liked the concept. But that's all she wanted to know, the concept. And that made me happy, you know, it was okay. And from then on, we proceeded. Right now, I'm just preparing a bit of PVA glue, 50-50. And I'm going to stick a few chronicles on the center piece where I already have layers of chronicles. I just want to see a bit of color coming through. So I'm not going to really think much about it and just take a few chronicles the same day, right? The same chronicle the same day. So I'm still working on the same day. You see, I'm just adding bits and pieces of chronicle, and I'm using them as color, not as reading material. I've cut out pieces randomly, and they're just adding a bit of color to the mural. Paper is also color. It's not necessarily reading material. Just place them anywhere, and anywhere that looks right. I'm just going to finish this and then I'll go to the next stage, which is colour. You see, this is arbitrarily done. This is the same blue as that, and I hadn't noticed it. Or maybe I did, my subconscious did. It's just a touch of colour. The experiment I did yesterday with the powder paint worked a treat. And as you can see, the blue, it has fixed permanently on the canvas. So I can carry on with this technique. This basically means mixing it with a bit of water and then the PVA glue. It's a lovely yellow and the painting is crying out loud for yellow. So I'm going to give it yellow. I've got a bit of water here that I've used to clean my brush. Now that should be enough. Has to be mixed perfectly. I'll do the usual as you can see. I'm recycling any containers, I mean this is yogurt container. I always wash them and keep them because they're so useful for anything, for mixing paint, for whatever you want to use them. And artists usually are hoarders and storers and whatever. I'm going to add yellow.
She said, excuse me, I forgive my life for change before. It turned into a list stained in forgotten drawers. Barely touching hands, there we go, wrapped in a romance. With ego, with laughter, worth the cure.
And again.
And I
That
can't
looks nice.
bear to see dimming lights and fading dreams, while the stars, yeah, they still shine for us, for the two of us.
First time I've walked on a canvas.
She said, forgive me if I choose
First time I've done a
to take
large
time
canvas,
off to explore.
It's great fun. One more time.
Pardon me for all I'm curious and hungry for.
And this one I'll spread out.
Barely touching hands, there we go, wrapped in a romance. With ego, with laughter, we're the cure. We'd be dead and I can't bear to see dimming.
This is a wonderful tool. You can buy anywhere, in any hardware store. I got these from Mercadona in Spain. They're very cheap. I'm going to try this, so I'm going to go for it. If it doesn't work, I'll change it or...
The two of us, and I can't bear to see turn to dust, turn to anything less than I had, less than I had, less than I had. So goodbye, hope you do, hope you find in the new, in the night, what I could not give to you, 'cause I could not find, could not find, could not find. And I can bear to see dimming lights and fading dreams.
The brief was quite a simple one. I had to come up with a mural measuring 8.54 meters by 2.38, I think it was. And there was only one condition, that the mural had to respect the color scheme of the common room. The common room furniture had been purchased or was in the process of being purchased, and the color scheme for it had already been chosen. So, and I had to produce a mural that would be fitted in the common room. It would have to be delivered there, and all the necessary requirements for it to be adhered to the wall had to be supplied by myself. So that was the simplest of briefs. I found this blue here at the garage I'm using. It's probably been left behind by someone else, and it's probably meant to be a sky blue for one of the props for a theatre piece or something. But it's ideal. I love the color and I'm going to use it. I'm mixing it well now. I'll add a bit of PVA glue as usual to make it acrylic, make it plasticky, so that it doesn't, you know, crack. But that's it. So let's go for it. At this stage, it's all about adding color and starting on a design. Roughly, I mean, I haven't done a dummy. I just have an idea in my head, and it's such a difficult idea to put down on paper that I'd rather not do it and just go straight to the canvas. And I'll make the adjustments as and when I need them, and the painting usually talks back to you. It tells you whether it's ready, what it needs, what color, and I can feel that, and I can feel the painting speaking to me, and I'm looking at it now and it's beginning to look great, but I'm already seeing what it's asking me to do, which is really to muddle the colors. But anyway, this is almost ready, and I'm going for it. I'm just going to... I love house paints, I love them. I don't know what it is, but I prefer them to oils, to acrylics, to anything. I love the texture, I love the consistency, and they're great paints. This paint has a completely different consistency than the other one, and I'm going to use that.
At the edge of the earth where the moon
Now it needs some squeegeing.
the ocean. A man in a lighthouse watches the world go by. Like an engine she roars, exploding onto the shore.
The brief was an open one, but I knew what I didn't want. And I didn't want my painting to be about rock capes and lighthouses, and it had to be a Gibraltar theme. Now, another thing that was crucial, or at least for me, was the fact that the mural had to go in the common room, the heart of the university, where students of all nationalities congregate for coffee and drinks and chat. So I had to do something that would connect, especially with young people. So that was my own. I wanted something that would be really fresh and energetic and express values that are more abstract in a way, but that would reflect or rather expose Gibraltar to them, make it a point of a conversation, starting conversation, but wouldn't really interfere in their lives.
There's a time and a place where everything seems so easy. In this time and a place, nothing could let you down. But the truth hits everyone, though it's hard to take. And if I could have my way, I'd sail away with you. All the times that we thought that nothing would come between us, fools to believe nothing could bring us down. But the truth hits everyone, though it's hard to take. And if I could have my way, I'd sail away with you. Come sail with me. Come sail.